that. Yesterday I picked up a hatch to help us make the rear window, and it's kind of funny because it's really cursed seeing the hatch on the convertible. Like, it basically just looks like it's a hatchback RX-7, but if you come here, it's definitely not. So I don't know if we're going to be working on that today, but we will be using that hatch to basically cut it up and graft in to the car, and then we'll use that as the framework for the rear window. So it's not going to be a hatchback, it'll still be a coupe, but I wanted to use a hatch, that way I can kind of retain the body lines of that back window structure that were already designed by Mazda. I don't know if we're going to be working on that today, but we're just going to generally work on just rafting this roof in and getting it more sealed up and ready for some body filler work. There's still a lot of work to do, even though the roof is welded on, and I don't know how much we're going to get done today, but we're going to get done as much as we can. It worked!
Now I know this episode is ending kind of abruptly and we didn't really finish everything that we started, but I'll go over why that is in a minute. It also looks like we haven't really done much at all. The car visually looks less farther along than it did at the beginning of the video, and that's kind of because a lot of the progress we made was all hidden. We started by doing more work on tying the roof into the windshield frame, and more importantly, we made that work with the sunroof. So now the sunroof is in fully, I mean it needs to be fully mounted in, but is actually up and flush with the roof how it needs, and it all clears. And we did some more tying with the A-pillar and the roof as well. Obviously you saw we worked on tying in our door jambs and making the seams between the roof and the convertible chassis blended together. Those will be touched up later, but at least they're like one piece and not like a long seam, and so that helps with structure but also just make it look visually nice. And the big thing is starting on the rear window. Now we did cut the rear hatch here, and all this section is now not going to be used. You can see the old piece there. I was thinking about maybe using that as the lower part of the rear window, but I think we're no longer going to do that. From what we kind of decided, I think this is a good piece to use. We'll probably have to end up cutting most of this structure out so that the window will actually retain the shape of the coupe as opposed to the hatch. But the outside structure will be used. Down here, we're probably going to just either use what is already here or modify it in a way for the window to kind of sit on that as well. It is a little weird that this is curved, which doesn't really flow a lot with the body lines of the car, but I think it is still our best shot. You can kind of imagine a window there and it doesn't look too bad. I think it'll be all right. It's just, this is definitely going to be the most difficult thing of this project. I honestly think making this work isn't super difficult. It's more making it look not bad, making it look like it is supposed to be like that. Because everything up on this point, up here, down here, the B pillar, obviously the window frame itself, all this kind of is already made to work because that's how the hatch is. This conjunction right here is the first point where we get to a section that this isn't designed to work this way. Because normally on a hatchback, the B pillar ends, and then this is just where the hatch lays. So this B pillar and this hatch frame is not designed to flow nicely here. And we have to make this point not janky so that it kind of flows nice and it works. So this, I think, making this whole rear window, specifically this corner, not look goofy or janky or out of place, not draw your eye, is going to be the most difficult thing of this whole project. So continuing forward with this project, the next step is still going to be complete the rear window. Once all that is built and constructed, then we can work on blending all the rest of the seams and the body lines together, and then move forward from there with bodywork, paint, whatever. And the reason the episode is ending here and this is not getting finished in this episode is because, well, it's April and drift season has now started and I want to be able to drive this car. I don't care if there's no rear window or if it is missing pieces, looks really bad. I just want to drive it. So if you're wondering why it is on jack stands and is in pieces, that is because I'm finishing the last few things that need to get done so this car can be driven. I gotta put Park Shop Max front knuckles in it. I'm doing a DTSS root delete in the rear. That is the passive toe adjustment, the rear steer. And I gotta mount a fire extinguisher. And then this car should hopefully ready to go and we can at least shake it down at the track. Once all that's completed, once this car is back driving, then we'll continue on with the coupe conversion and stuff. So all that stuff will be covered in the next video and hopefully I will be driving this car on the track real soon.